If I say someone is having a heart attack, you think about a man, right? So that means that women, they don't have heart attack? Well, of course they do. It's actually the first cause of death of women in France. The thing is, when they go see their practitioners, their closest ones, most of the time they will diagnose an anxiety attack. And that's the big mistake. For centuries, medicine have been studied on the male body, which means that we don't know that the symptoms of a heart attack are different between a man and a woman. And indeed, the main mistake is that women have been put aside of our health systems. So that's why we created Jeen, to rethink women's health, to build a new standard of care for women. So our solution are health centers fully dedicated to women. We have 3 main points. First, we see women as a whole, not just a uterus, which means that in the same place, we have medical, paramedical, and preventive care, so independent practitioners that are all experts of the female body and who work together to offer the best health journey. Secondly, we have a mobile application to offer a seamless experience to women so they can chat with their practitioners between consultations. And third, we have a modern medical project. Modern because we don't want our places to look like gray caves like many hospitals. So at Jeen centers, it's warm, it's cozy, it's intimate. And modern because we address all the new ethical questions in society. So it's me, a farmer consultant, and Valentine, my co-founder, who's a midwife. So we consider it a perfect duet to innovate in the medical world. We is also a team of 5 wonderful women, with Haena right here, and more than 20 practitioners, men and women, who work with us on a daily basis. So last year, we did a pre-seed fund to open our first health centers in Paris, so 350 meter squares dedicated to women's health in the 11th arrondissement. And it's already a great success. We opened like a month ago. And now we want to go way more. So we will do a new fundraising this year to open at least 8 health centers by 2026 and address the needs of more than 100,000 women in France. So come with us and join the Jeen experience. Thank you.
Hadia had just given birth when she was diagnosed with acute leukemia. Due to the war in her homeland, Syria, few hospitals offered the treatment she needed. And so she, her husband Shadi, and their newborn faced 2 options: head to Damascus and risk getting caught in the crossfire between ISIS and the Syrian army, or cross into Iraq and become refugees. They chose the latter. Access to chemotherapy and safety meant living in a tent with no access to running water, 1 toilet for 40 people, but more importantly, no right to work, no pathway to citizenship, a life in complete limbo. Not long after, Hadia was introduced to us. NaTakallam, a social enterprise that hires refugees as online tutors, teachers, and translators, regardless of their location and regardless of their status. For years, Shadi and Hadia sustained themselves financially, teaching through their computer Arabic to students around the world. But they feared for their daughter's future. They repeatedly applied for resettlement to Europe, and they were repeatedly denied. And so, one day at the height of COVID, Shadi gathered all the savings made through NaTakallam and took for a dangerous 3-month journey with smugglers, crossing by foot from Iraq to the Netherlands. While many die along the way, he made it. He was granted asylum, and he filed for family reunification when was soon joined by Hadi and his daughter. Operating at the intersection of millions of connected, skilled refugees, growing demand for language services, and the online economy, NaTakallam delivers curated, quality language services to individuals, to universities, to companies, to organizations like the World Bank, Hilton Hotels, Yale, Columbia. The work provides dignity, income to refugees, and life-changing relationships. Rather than being passive recipients to aid, they have self-generated over $3 million to date. At NaTakallam, we see refugees as forced digital nomads. In a world where over 100 million people are displaced, and with millions more who will become climate refugees, integrating them into the global economy is essential. Today, Hadia credits NaTakallam with saving her life. Her family is integrating Dutch society, and she is cancer-free. Whether you're a language learner, a company in need of translation services, a professor looking to liven up your classroom, at NaTakallam, language is life-saving. Join us.
When I was a kid, I wanted to be an environmentalist. But I grew up in a small town in the north of Russia, near the Arctic Circle. The parents were working in oil and gas industry, and I naturally followed their path. For over 14 years, I worked in dirty industry. Basically, I constructed wells. I pumped and mixed cement in the middle of Siberia. It was a very tough time. I am not going into details about cold conditions and how difficult to work in male-dominated industry when you need to prove yourself every day. In 2016, I changed it to, I remembered my childhood dream of becoming an environmentalist. I always wanted to make a positive impact on the planet, but my family and its school to work in oil and gas, I forgot about my dream. Nevertheless, I had a rich and interesting life, but it was not enough for my realization as an engineer and human being. And I know that I need to do something else. I made a decision to go to Europe and study renewable energy, so I changed my life. In 2019, I opened the clean tech startup, HelioRec. We are building floating solar power plants. We are focusing on near-shore locations where half of global population lives. At HelioRec, we want to solve 3 problems. First, EU needs to cut greenhouse gas emissions by 55% in only 7 years. Second, cost of electricity is very expensive. Third, many locations don't have available land space to install solar panels. Our technology solves all these problems. We generate a clean energy from solar panels, cost of our electricity twice less than electricity from the grid, and we don't occupy any land space, installation on unused water space. We manufacture floating system by ourselves, we assemble the power plants and install it on water and generate clean energy. Our system survives storms with wind speed more than 100 km/h and 2-meter waves. So, I'm solo female founder of hardware startup. Again, solo female founder of hardware startup. You see so many red flags for investors' due diligence. But I managed to raise over €1 million during the recession, and I'm happy with what I'm doing. Most of the time it is hard work and tears sometimes, but I know the positive change is always possible. If I could change my life, everyone can do it. Take small steps and move forward. Let's believe in ourselves. Ignore doubts from others and from within, and celebrate every milestone achieved. These achievements will give you more strength to move forward. This achievement will bring you true happiness. Thank you.
Go ahead.